What a game, Kwab. What a game.
What a series.
What a series.
What a series so far.
Playoff experience might be real, Kwab. It
Who
might
who's
be a thing. I don't know. We'll talk about it. But let's get into the box score first. For the Nuggets, Jamal Murray, 27 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. Aaron Gordon with 22 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Nikola Jokic with a terrible shooting game, but he finished with 20, 16, and 6. And for the Thunder, Jalen Williams led the team with 32 points. SGA with 18 and 13. 7 assists to go with that as well. Chet Holmgren with 18 and 16. But Kwab, man, the offense, I don't know. They got everything they wanted in the paint the whole game. And then when it came down to the final quarter, it's like they forgot how to pass the basketball, to move the basketball. Shout out to the Denver defense for running the zone. They collapsed in the paint. They made a lot of things difficult. They roughed up the game a little bit for the Thunder there. But the Thunder, man, it's kind of what happened last year against the Mavs. The offense just stalled out. It kind of just stopped. I don't understand why. A lot of just one-on-one, going off the dribble. I understand that, like, you have to hit the gaps of the zone, but you also have to move the basketball. A lot of times they got into the paint and just didn't kick the ball out when they had people open on the perimeters. And there were times actually where, depending on who was driving to the paint, where Denver wasn't really helping out, but they forced Oklahoma City into tough twos. Hartenstein missing floaters. I'm sure if you're an OKC fan, you love iHart, but you don't love him taking those floaters. Just a very confusing offensive performance there by the Thunder at the end.
Yeah, it was. They basically went to like the one-on-one offense, and Shai wasn't having a good game
No,
overall.
not at all.
He wasn't. I looking back on it, I know, I guess that's not what they do, but they should have went to Jalen Williams more, because it felt like he got it going. Usually, the way they've had their your rotations throughout the course of the season is that Jalen Williams usually gets the offense ran through him in the start of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Shai comes off the bench, and then they go back to Shai to run the offense. But it felt like Jalen Williams was the only person that had it going. He made a couple of tough shots. Yeah, they were tough shots, but Shai missed a bunch of step back middies, a bunch of threes, and couldn't get anything going. I mean, it was. This series is supposed to be the MVP matchup,
Yes.
and they both played terrible.
They were awful today,
They
both
were
of them.
awful. They
I mean,
were-
actually, it wasn't that. Jokic was worse in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, Jalen Williams had it going, but also just like the Thunder do have an effective zone like type of defense. I mean, offense, right?
Yeah.
Like you have iHart in the middle, Chet outside. Like you have this like two-man game going. You have one of the best passing big men in the league in iHart, creating for others when he gets in the middle of the paint. And it's like they just stopped that.
They just stopped.
Because
Yeah.
I understand, like I get it. Like you want the ball in your best player's hands, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't want the game coming down to like, is Isaiah Hartenstein going to make the right pass or the right decision? I mean, he ended up taking 2 floaters anyway from the side though, not from the middle of the paint, which is where his sweet spot is. But I mean, you do have a zone offense that you can go to, and it just seems like that's what they decided not to do. And this is what bothers me so much about teams in general, not just the Thunder. A lot of times when things get tight, 8 minutes to go in the game, 5 minutes to go in the game, and the game slows down, it's like they forget that they have offense to run. And I understand that you have players like SGA who is your MVP, who can do things on his own. I understand you have that, but it doesn't mean you abandon all of your principles. And the Nuggets defense made the Thunder abandon their principles, while on the opposite end, the Nuggets were doing everything they could, pick and roll, pick and pop, Jokic in the post, kicking to Aaron Gordon. Like their offense was way more unpredictable. Aaron Gordon was huge again. Can we talk about how clutch Aaron Gordon has been in these? It's unbelievable what he's doing.
Been ridiculous. All of playoffs, he's been ridiculous. And you know what? Not even just Aaron Gordon. Michael Porter Jr. is playing with one arm.
Well, today, MPJ had a great game today.
And the fact that to start the game, he was probably like he set the tone for the start of the game for somebody that again is playing with one good shoulder, and to get a balanced scoring effort from him, from Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray, it's able to offset like a terrible shooting like game. This is probably the worst shooting game I think I've personally seen from Jokic. And usually, even if Jokic has a bad shooting game, he's still a big factor in other ways with his rebounding and assists.
Yeah.
But it was just out watching the course of the game. I'm like, yo, these are like nothing has fallen for him. Even some easy like close shots weren't going in for him. But Aaron Gordon has continuously saved this team, and I
He really
back
has,
back to
man.
your
It's
point,
crazy.
like to say saved, it's like yeah, but
No,
like,
he saved. Superman, put on the cape.
yeah,
He's
like
done it.
game winners, game winning dunks, like even he hit the clutch shot to take this game to overtime too. So
That's what I was talking about. But not just
Yeah.
that, just the whole fourth quarter in general.
yeah,
I mean,
Just-
cutting to the hoop, dunking the ball. Like he did everything. He did everything for this team.
just and his shooting numbers have been like crazy. I think been shooting from 40% from three or something like, which is not a typical that you don't see that for Aaron Gordon, and I think that he's been shooting well all season. He's been a big factor why they are where they are now. So he he might be the MVP of the playoffs so far right now. Like he's been crazy.
No, he actually. I mean, I don't think he is. There's a guy named Jalen Brunson out there in New York. We'll
Never
talk
heard
about
of him. Never heard of him. It's Aaron Gordon.
I want to ask you this because you and I, everyone who knows me personally, and maybe people on the dime who watch this from time to time, can pick up on the fact that I think playoff experience, I do think it's a thing, but I don't think it's as big as a thing as people make it out to be because these players have played in huge games their whole lives. For me, like the thought that they would get nervous, whatever, like come on, like stop. Like these guys are professionals at this point, and we've talked about the Thunder. You know, SGA's been in the playoffs for a few years now. It's not like he's new to this. Isaiah Hartenstein last year with the Knicks, with the Clippers, he's been in the playoffs. Like there are players on this team. Caruso has, you know what I mean? Last year, Jalen Williams, he was in the playoffs too. Like this is the youngest team in the league, but they do have. I wouldn't say they have championship experience. I wouldn't say that they're as experienced as the Nuggets, but it's not like they haven't been here before. This is a team that made the Western Conference semis last year. You know what I mean? This isn't their first rodeo. Yeah. For me, like the whole playoff experience, I mean, they were saying it on a broadcast like this, you know, the Denver championship experience, you could tell why the Thunder are an experience. I don't think that's what it is. I don't think it's an experience thing. I don't think it takes playoff experience to make adjustments to kind of run your eye. That doesn't fly with me. Like, to me, when you hear playoff experience, maybe it's like I think nerves, like maybe it's your first time, blah 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 blah. And I understand like being in a 7-game series with a team that knows your tendencies and having to adapt. I get that's a thing, right? But again, this Thunder team has been there enough for me. This isn't their first. They've been there enough. Dort has been there enough. SGA has been there enough. Hartenstein has been there enough. Caruso has been there enough. Like this team is young, but this whole inexperience versus experience thing, I don't buy that. I really don't. I think a big thing that's hurting the Thunder that a lot of people aren't talking about is that a lot of times when the Thunder won this year, I don't know what the exact stat is. I should have brought it up. But they've just been kicking the shit out of teams.
Yeah,
all year.
they don't have close games. They
right.
blow out teams.
It's the experience in close games, maybe, but not like play. That's a different type of experience where it's like you never had to face like close game adversity. If that makes any sense.
That's what I was gonna say because with the Thunder, and we saw this all season. We always talked about like when they beat you, they beat the crap out of you.
Yeah, I mean,
that's who they are, and we saw it in game 2. Like it wasn't that game ended up not being close whatsoever. Like when they separate from you, like they separate and they just before you know it's like a 20-30 point game.
Yes,
and that's been the case for the whole course of the whole season. But I don't really. It's not to me. It's not playoff experience.
Right.
More so to me, it's more so.
Just not being in this situation, like a different type of experience.
No, not
it
even
reminds me
that.
of the Celtics, right? The Celtics-Knicks series, and I hate to bring this to like my team, but like the Celtics like really haven't been punched in the face the past 2 years in the playoffs, right? So you get a Knicks team that's like coming back, like you don't know what to not to do in those certain situations, but you're put in a situation where it's like, oh, this is new.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, it's not to me. It's not experience. Is playoff? It's playoff chemistry. The Nuggets, for example, like have the 5 people they have on the floor have played with each other for an extended amount of time. Even Christian Brown was coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Previous years, they have played heavy rotation minutes with each other. So when the games gets tight or whatever, they know what they can go to and you're comfortable with. So a lot of times we'll see the 2-man game with Jokic and Murray, which is one of the most unstoppable like 2-man game. And then when it comes down to like if Jokic gets the ball, he knows exactly where Aaron Gordon is going to be, and or where so and so is going to be because they've been playing together for a while, and that's part of the experience. We can talk about how young the Thunder are, but
Right.
and
But
all these
that's
new
continuity.
pieces.
That's chemistry over a long
Yeah.
period of time.
Over a long period of time, and that's and they have that they've had that in the playoffs also when the quote unquote the games have gotten tight or like people might have nerves. They've played enough games with each other in these type of scenarios where it doesn't really affect them as much as it might affect another team. With this Thunder team, we just talked about how when the game gets close and on the end of the game, their default setting is to go to their 1-on-1 and not
Right.
and diverge from moving the ball or whatever else. It's like, yo, we're just gonna give the ball to Shai. We're just gonna give the ball to Jalen Williams, and we'll go from there. A team like
But
the
how much of that
Nuggets.
is coaching though? Like, and I don't want to throw Dagnall under the bus, right?
I
But
mean,
for me, it's like
Go
you
ahead.
got to get your team together in that scenario. And I think he's had a rough series, man. I really do. I think the game one, the collapse is, it's a bad thing, but fouling as early as he did,
Yeah,
I think that was a
yeah.
horrible decision. And now in game three, call a timeout. Hey, guys, listen, they're doing this zone. Let's put in some type of zone breaker in there, whether it's Hartenstein in the middle or maybe some type of like pick and roll action up top. Like something different that
Instead
you
of
can
just
run
go
aside from.
one-on-one,
And I
yeah.
understand like SGA is who he is, right? And you want him comfortable. But like switch it up a bit because all it really was SGA going into the teeth of defense and then like trying to do something in the crowded paint or kicking it out desperately, but getting so far into the paint and not making a good pass out so that by the time the person got the pass out in the perimeter, it was a tough three or like there was nothing there. Like there was just no continuity. And to me, that's coaching. And I don't want to throw Mark under the bus. I think he's a fantastic coach, and I think he should be the coach for the OKC Thunder for a very long time. But you got to make an adjustment there. You have to.
Yeah, fair. You definitely do. I mean, again, I think it comes down to they're so comfortable with Shai's gonna take us away
Yeah,
instead
I
of
get
just
it.
calling time, like you said, calling time out and maybe don't having to play or a different set just to switch it up. So I mean that you end up getting this type of results. Usually you're comfortable with a lot of the shots Shai took at the end of the game. But
Yeah,
so were the
kinda.
Nuggets though. So were the Nuggets because they were like this is where we won. A lot of times he would be dribbling and they would shade the second person over,
Yes.
and it would end up being a tougher shot. So I mean, you got to give props to the Nuggets because
Oh yeah, I mean, 100% props to the Nuggets. I'm not saying the Thunder blew this or whatnot. I just think that the debate shows and well, it's a weekend, but I think a lot of the media is going to turn to like we're seeing the experience of the Nuggets and the inexperience of. And honestly, I just think it's coaching, and I think the Nuggets. And we were right all season about these guys. That when it comes down to it, they're going to figure it out in the playoffs. They're gonna, you know what I mean? They know they have so much chemistry.
so are we saying that the Nuggets with your 2-week coach, the coach that's been coaching them technically for
Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, has been out coaching. I mean, Dagnall, who some people might would say was like close to being a coach of the year this year
Yes.
too. Yeah,
Yes, and I think he did a fantastic job against Ty Lue too. I think he deserves a lot of credit.
yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
do. And to me, I mean, the one thing about the Nuggets that they've improved on is they have just abandoned going man, which is what got them in trouble throughout the regular season. It's because they put Jokic in a pick and roll. They couldn't rotate in time. Like it was just disgusting, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't just Jokic; it was the whole team not being able to rotate properly. Their zone. And
Yeah.
they're comfortable in that. They're not great at it. There's times where they can be really good, but they're not terrible.
Yeah.
They're not terrible in the zone. And this offense can score on anybody. OKC is a fantastic defense, but we saw in the regular season too where Denver didn't have a problem scoring on them. We did a game where the Nuggets won against OKC. And that didn't happen often. Usually when we did an OKC game, they
was
won
a
every
blowout.
single time.
It was a blowout. It
Yeah.
was usually a blowout.
Yeah, so for me, like I'm not saying playoff experience isn't thing. I think it's a thing. I just think that to make it like the go-to is a little silly. And I think
So your point is that you don't want it to be the headline. Like this is the only reason.
Because I don't think that's the reason why this series is going the way it is.
Yeah.
I think it's coaching. If I'm being complete, I think it's coaching.
I can agree with you with the coaching. Yeah.
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 I do. And I think it turned because I think Mark's a really good coach. It could turn, but I'm just saying in general, like the game one, the decisions that Mark made allowed the Nuggets to come back. Game three, to me, when your offense is stagnant like that, it is on you. And for that long, too. It wasn't like it just got stagnant in the last minute.
Yeah,
it was stagnant for like more than half of the quarter. You have to do something. You have to figure something out. You have to have things you can go to. And he just didn't. It was just like the same thing every single time down. And if Jalen Williams wasn't bailing the offense out, they really weren't doing anything. So
I mean, yeah, I agree with you.
Listen, I again, like I know every time I say that comment, there's like loads of people who disagree with what I'm saying. I do think that this series is going 7.
Yeah, I was gonna say going into this game, I felt like Denver was gonna win anyway, just because they're at home and getting blown out like that, they're gonna show up. But this was what's the right word I'm looking for? A rough game for both parties, and Denver was able to pull it out. And like you said, coaching was a big factor of it because it just looking at it like their offense was just so stale for so long for a team that's very, very offensively gifted and moves the ball really well. Do you think that Thunder win the next game?
I don't know. I'm pulling a Kwab here because usually I'm the one giving a prediction every single time.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say If I'm gonna, because I had the Thunder in 7 here, and if this goes 7, I don't think they're gonna come back from 3-1, and make it a 7-game series. So I'm gonna say yes because I think for a good portion of this series, the Thunder have been the better team. For game 1, for the most part, they were the better team. They just had a collapse at the end. For game 2, they were absolutely the better team. And this game, I think Denver deserved to win this game. I think Denver was a better team today. But there were parts where it was just like, oh, the Thunder are getting whatever they want in the paint. I mean, they didn't shoot the 3-ball well, but whatever they wanted in the paint. They got so many easy layups and dunks for the first 3 quarters of the game. And then it just like stopped.
I mean, look, because
the Nuggets made it a point to collapse on the paint, and they just never adjusted.
Hey, look, you could beat a better team, but your team doesn't have Aaron Gordon or your favorite player, Russell Westbrook.
We'll end it there. The Denver Nuggets beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 113-104. Take a 2-1 series lead in the Western Conference semifinals. Kwab and I will be back tomorrow at some point. The Knicks play the Celtics. I might go to Madison Square Garden and be a part of the fan experience. So I don't know if we'll do that right after. We'll see. I'll keep you updated on that. And then the Warriors T-Wolves, which is a weird series we haven't recapped yet, but we should be doing that. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us everywhere at the Dime NBA. I'm Josh Rodriguez at Josh_Rodriguez_. He's Kwab at Kwab AKS. We'll see you tomorrow for more game recaps of the Dime. Peace.